Okay, so I've been thinking about how to talk about this role. It's so important, it's all encompassing. I feel honored to have this role, but really, I thought about when you send your child away. I think a lot of parents on this call are boarding student parents, not everyone, but most of you. You want them to have a wonderful experience academically, of course, but also in what they're doing with their time outside of school. In most schools, in my experience, there may be a big trip at the start of the year or sprinkled throughout. But what we're really fortunate with at Rossa Lake College is having a beautiful campus that allows us to continue magical experiences all year. Each weekend, our students have the opportunity to use the campus, whether that's out canoeing on the water, climbing trees. If you've seen our new sport court, it's outside, it's beautiful. We've got our own Rossa Lake League where they're playing basketball. And so because we're a small community, we can do a lot of things. We can go on trips throughout the year on weekends, and our staff, who are handpicked for their wonderful life experiences and what they bring. Each weekend is a rotation of different teachers who are coming on campus, and they get to choose the things they're passionate about to share with the students. And that's what inspires those adventures. So some of the highlights would be one big one that's been happening every other weekend is our community kitchen, which is student-led for students who love the culinary arts or they want to make something that's a taste of home. And that's been one of the favorites. So access to our kitchen, again, a small school, very caring staff, including our kitchen staff who welcome students into that space. Another big one would be going out on an additional canoe trip beyond our out trip. Many students jumped on that opportunity. Things like exploring the canopy of our trees, climbing high up into the tallest trees on campus. And of course, a big favorite is playing in the Rossa Lake League. So students at our school playing basketball, we formed teams and it became very competitive, very fun. And you probably saw a lot of highlights of that on our school Instagram. That's a big question. And I think the magic we talk about that happens on campus occurs a lot of the time when the students come out of their rooms and they get outside, but they're together, right? So they get to spend time with each other. Just yesterday, watching snowboarding happen, we have students from several different countries, all snowboarding together. Some are brand new, others are teaching the newer kids. This happens on the ice as well when we go skating. We've got students who have never skated in their life. They're terrified. And now they're being challenged, but encouraged by their peers and helped along the way. And so a lot of the magic that comes from staff, it also comes from students, and they want to share their passion and love for the Canadian landscape. And a lot of times they're the ones doing that teaching. This happens in the community kitchen as well. I've been able to witness a student making bannock and teaching others how to do that. I mean, that's just such a beautiful thing that they get to share their cultures with each other. And what more do you want as a parent when you know that your student is being asked to come out of their room and, pause the video games and, hey, we've got some beautiful opportunities for you here. I think it feels like we're on this never-ending almost like a vacation experience, but they're teaching each other and they get to have all these different experiences right here in our small little community. One of the most important things is having the pulse of the community and spending that much time with students, whether it's in the classroom or in the guidance office where we're learning about their hopes and dreams for the future. It helps inform and gives me constant feedback about what should we be trying. And maybe that's something to challenge a student, or maybe that's something to allow that passion for them to explore that passion here on campus. And I'm going back to the community kitchen again. It seems like a simple thing, but we have a student who participates in this that was so excited about exploring the culinary arts. And how can you do that? How do you actually know if that's what you want to do in life? And she has been making these beautiful dishes, and she is now receiving positive feedback from peers. And so we found out that that was a passion in the guidance office. So I think that they're all connected, and whether it's a conversation you hear in the classroom amongst students about something they're really excited about or they want to do, or maybe you learn something about them, again, and what their future hopes are, and you can help facilitate experiences that let them try it right here on campus or going somewhere. Actually in class, and one of our students who had finished his work wanted to play music while the others were completing their work. We had music on, so we paused it and he started playing the piano. We actually continued this into the students' little presentations they did later, and he played a song that represented each of them. I mean, what other school does a student feel confident enough to share one of their passions, playing piano in front of everyone, but then also, and this student has actually arrived late, was only here since I believe November, knows enough about each of their peers to play a song that goes with their spirit. It was actually really beautiful. And those moments of community life, we talk a lot about the activities, but we're in a school where they're happening all the time. And it's the spontaneous ones that actually, bring tears to your eyes sometimes when they happen, and they're really beautiful. It's the feeling of taking a chance, right? And trying something new, overcoming that fear. And I think back to the beginning of the year where many of you probably heard about Graham Vought's analogy of the portage. We love the beautiful moment of being in a canoe, but there's some really hard moments that happen, but after you feel incredible, like, hey, I can do this, And so maybe the portage when you're skating is actually getting a pair of skates and just showing up to the rink, that first step to go out there. Maybe it's standing at the top of the snowboard ramp and having that moment of, I'm scared. This is going to be hard. And then going for it and being encouraged by your peers. So we've got a lot of those great opportunities coming up. Some things students are confident in, like going out to the hills and going skiing, again, snowboarding right here on our campus. But some students have never tried that before. And so that moment of taking that chance and learning something about yourself, that you're stronger than you think, and your peers are there to support you. I had the opportunity to meet a cartographer, and he was so passionate about his work because maps tell a story. And as you know, when you look at a map, you get excited. Where could we go? It's not just one road you're looking at. If it was one road, you wouldn't need a map. But it's where do all the roads go? And hey, what is that? There are no roads going there. Maybe it's a big mountain or something beautiful you see on the map. So the story of each student is like a map, and all those roads connect. Some of them are more like a highway, an activity they spend their most time with, but the detours are really important too. And I think they inform that entire journey, right? So it's, something that I was inspired by one of the Canadian Geographic map makers who will be coming to our campus. So it just, that story that the kids get to tell and how they get to build their own maps.